Hello, once again. This is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Thank you for attending another presentation. And the topic for today is bad NFL football teams equal good real estate markets? Well, we're gonna find out, aren't we? All right, so let's have some fun. Here are my personal picks for the five worst NFL football teams this year, 2018 season, and why you should invest in those markets. Okay, so I'm going to count down from number five to all the way to number one with respect to my personal choices and personal opinion. So, number five. Number five is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, for years they have very horrible football team, and of course the quarterback Jameis Winston, a young supposedly franchise quarterback for the past 5 years, always getting into off the field problems. Very talented, but immaturity and what have you is pretty much his downfall. So as a result, they playing quarterback. Roller coaster with Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Harvard educated career backup, the gunslinger that from day to day, week to week, has some good games and have some horrible games with interceptions. But last week, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick threw for 400 yards, through the air, and then I'll also have additional 100 yards through in the ground for Tampa. Amazingly, which is a very historic, that last week they total 500 total offensive yards and yet score only a measly 3 points on the field goal. So that's a historical first, as far as I know, by watching football for how long have I been watching football? Since 1970. That makes it almost 50 years I've been watching NFL football. So I think I know a thing or two about football. All right. So with that said, Tampa Bay again have not been make the playoffs for a long time. They have a losing record with the quarterback roller coaster. But anyway, my number five real estate market is in Tampa, Central Florida, including Orlando, of course. Central Florida have done very well with real estate investing. Great cash flow properties is growing very fast. A lot of jobs, a lot of population growth. Tampa Metro, Jim Gillum has been selling new construction, all over the suburban communities of Tampa and of course Orlando as well. So all I have to do is click on this PowerPoint and just do some additional research, and yeah, still some great opportunity. Not much longer for cash flow because Central Florida continue to have rising prices and pretty soon no more cash flow. So this the next 6 to 12 months is an opportunity for real estate investors to enter this market and purchase those brand new constructions in very good communities. All right. So, of course, if you want to take the next step, contact myself first. Of course, Jim Gillum is our Central Florida real estate network partner. Okay, number four on my list, in terms of bad football teams, are the Houston Texans. Well, yeah, they're bad, but they're not really horrible. But they always find a way to lose, and Deshaun Watson have a lot of potential, but his games are up and down. Houston, they just barely win their games. They amazingly on the AFC Central Division, South Division, they are kind of leading the division, but they barely won their game, so they're not really all that great as a team. Although they got some good defensive front four, but they are very inconsistent. They find a way to lose, and sometimes Deshaun Watson he doesn't have a good game, and the Texans loses. So I'm not too high on Houston for making the playoffs on a very bad division. They barely again won their games. But with respect to real estate markets, they are pretty decent. I mean, Texas uh, has been growing very, very fast. Houston, in this particular case, we're promoting the suburbs of Houston, this duplex that we promoted like a couple of weeks ago. Many of you saw my webinar and the newsletter, and we are promoting brand new construction, brand new duplexes in the suburbs of Houston, which is in Conroe, Texas, which is right next to a very high-end upscale community of Woodlands, Texas. So these pre-construction duplexes are selling for average of 440,000. And the rents are, for the two doors, perhaps around 3,700. So with 25% down payment, you should get about, almost 7% cap rate. So you can still get some great cash flow. What I like about this community, this duplex community, is that it's located very, very proximity to various medical facilities, medical hospitals, and medical clinics. So furthermore, again, Conroe is one of the fastest growing small city in the country the last few years and will continue to grow. So these two plexes are located, which is very rare, in one of the best neighborhoods, right? I mean, Woodlands, the neighboring Woodlands have, $1 million homes everywhere, in this very upscale community. So in terms of location of this duplex in Conroe is very, very desirable. So very rare, if ever, I have seen where a brand new construction duplexes are located in a very good neighborhood, which is, this is like a A neighborhood, maybe A minus, but I would say A neighborhood for a multi-unit duplex. On a historical basis, I do not recall I have ever promoted any multi-units locating such a great neighborhood. All right, okay, on your own, you can click on the links. You will see the pro forma with respect to the duplex around 440K on the two sides. And of course, some marketing information you can click on as well in case you have not seen it. Okay, and so number three on my list of the worst NFL football teams for this year and the laughing stock of the league is the Cleveland Browns. As you know, last year I believe Cleveland Browns did not win not even one game. I think they went 0-16. I mean, how bad can you get, right? This year they won a couple of games where they have gotten better this year with a new rookie quarterback Baker Mayfield. So they got a lot of potential, but they still have a losing record this year. They lost a lot of close games, but in the past 5 years, suffice to say that Cleveland Browns are the laughing stock of the NFL that barely won like one or two games per year for the past 5 years. That's why they fired their coach recently. So Cleveland Browns still the laughing stock. And however, uh, the Cleveland, Ohio real estate market is going very strong. They have some very stable economy. Is cash flow properties. In this particular link that you can click on, I'm showing a I think $69,000 single family home rental with 900 something dollars monthly gross uh, rent. So those are good numbers, and with a less than 20 grand of a down payment on a 25% down payment, you can cash flow approximately $300 to $350 monthly net cash flow. So Cleveland is one of the top real estate markets right now in terms of cap rates and cash flow, very low price, and a decent growing economy with a very strong rental market. Okay, so that's now my number three on my personal real estate market to plunge on. And number two is the of the worst NFL teams or the Detroit Lions, right? The Detroit Lions is they are so weird. It's just they have a very good quarterback in Matthew Stafford, who for the past 10 years is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in NFL in terms of passing statistics. Now, by no means you cannot rely on passing statistics alone. I mean, Matthew Stafford, I mean, he like almost every year he gets about 5,000 yards passing and never gets hurt. So I could say he's a franchise quarterback. But for whatever reason, Detroit Lions for the past at least 10 years, they always have a losing record. Have not been to the playoffs for a very very long time. They always just there's something wrong with them, right? I mean, they just never can get over the hump. And Matthew Stafford, again, he's all about statistics. He doesn't have any big games. He does not have any signature wins. And Detroit Lions, their running attack is always has been very weak. So they always play catch up every week, and they always fall behind early. Then Matthew Stafford have to throw a lot of yards, to pad up his stats, but they do not win that many games. And this year, once again, they have a losing record as well, always in a bottom of the NFC Central Division. So I don't know what the if what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same things over and over again and expect different results. And Detroit Lions are no exception. They need to have a drastic change. I mean, I know they have a new coach from New England, Matt Patricia, but he's have not been doing a good job. So something needs to change. But with respect to the Detroit real estate market, I feel that's my number two market for real estate investors. This is an all cash purchase market because the appraisal is kind of broken. So all cash purchase using your cash or self-directed IRA. And the properties, the link is you will see the typical $55,000 uh, property in Detroit. You buy with cash, then you have a very good cap rate and a rent to value ratio. And Detroit is on a recovery track. The economic indicators is good, and the downtown is revitalizing. There's a lot of millennials are moving to Detroit, and living in a condos, nice urban downtown atmosphere, and that. So Detroit going through a lot of good changes and is rebounding from the past catastrophe with respect to the local government and the economy and the industry. They are diversifying. So if you there's a lot of truly savvy real estate investors are pulling the trigger in Detroit because you're not going to find 45, 50, $55,000 single family homes have a very good rent, very good cash flow, and very good return. So a lot of savvy investors from all over the country and over the world are plunging into the Detroit real estate market for those cookie cutter homes, as I mentioned before. And finally, last and not least, my personal number one real estate market is Buffalo. But Buffalo also happens to be, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion as well, Buffalo Bills clearly is the worst football team that I've seen in recent memory, and they've been bad. They've been bad for like 20 years now, ever since Jim Kelly retired more than 2 decades ago. But for some reason, they just again the laughing stock. I mean, they never, even though they made the playoff last year at 9-7, but that is very mind-boggling how they make the playoffs. But now they back down to earth. I think they only won like two. I don't know how they won 3 games, but I think they're 3-6. But in the past 5 games, they only score like one touchdown until last week when I don't know how they scored 41 points against the equally bad New York Jets, 41 points. But their quarterback roller coaster is even worse. I'm so glad they got rid of Nathan Peterman, I think his name is, the worst quarterback I've ever seen. He threw more interceptions per game than completions, but they cut him off finally. But they have again quarterback roller coaster. Josh Allen, their rookie first rounder, has been injured for the past few weeks, and they started with Derek Anderson. He's injured. Then they try to start uh, Matt Barkley. This guy have not thrown an NFL pass for the past 3 years. Matt Barkley from USC, been in NFL for 4 years. Been bouncing around as a backup, but he he did well last week. So we'll see. So Buffalo is one of the worst offensive teams in NFL, in my opinion, in history. Really, you think about it, they have simply no offensive talent. So they're going to be at the bottom of their division. for the foreseeable future. So Buffalo Bills has to be one of the worst, if not the worst, NFL football team this year. And with that said, the worst NFL teams are the best real estate market. Go figure, right? So that's the theme of my topic and of my presentation. So anyway, so Buffalo real estate market is really undervalued market. Something is a sort of a best kept secret to a lot of people, but not to me and my investors. If you look at my videos and emails for the past few months, you will clearly see that the value that the prices if you look at this link, the November inventory listing, you will see the tremendous cap rate and the return on your investment with respect to this Buffalo market. And our team, our partner, Keith Kanazi and his team of been doing it for 30 years, more than 30 years in the Buffalo market. They know what they're doing, right? They know how to buy property, how to rehab them, how to put tenant in place, and how to help out of state investors really do well in this market. So many of our investors here at our network are buying into Buffalo. I mean, you can buy $40,000 to $50,000 single family home renting for not $900 per month, which is amazing. On duplexes in Buffalo, you can buy like a $55,000 to $60,000 duplexes that renting for like $1,000. So tremendous rent to value ratio of almost 2%, and cap rate is like 13 to 14%. This is insane. Uh, so cash flow is obviously extremely very, very high, and many of our investors are buying multiple properties or using passive income to retire. So all you need is about $150,000 of cash. You can buy 10 rental properties in Buffalo. You can retire tomorrow. Okay, that's I'm not kidding. Right? You saw my videos, you saw my calculations and all the pro forma that you see. So if you guys are motivated to get financing and buy, $50,000 to $55,000 property, single family home or duplex in a Buffalo, Niagara Falls area with 20 to 25% down payment, you can achieve some very significant monthly net cash flow, and then you can retire very, very, or achieve financial freedom very, very quickly. So if that's your motivation, I'm sure that's a lot of people's motivation. So here you are. Or in summary, again, my theme is bad NFL football teams equals good real estate market. So if you have the, depending on your motivation and your commitment, you could buy one or more of these markets, diversify your real estate portfolio, do some asset allocation. Don't put all your money in one basket. And if you can diversify your real estate purchase in different part of the country, as I stated here on my top 5, then your chances of achieving financial freedom is very, very high and the risk is fairly low. Right? So hopefully you enjoyed this little bit off the wall presentation. I need to change up a little bit. I don't want to go through the process, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expect different results. I like to change up a little bit just to make things more interesting. All right. So with that said, of course, you know how to contact me, right? You can text me, email me. We can do a phone appointment. We can do a FaceTime chat through our respective cell phone. We could uh, do a phone appointment as well. We could meet one on one in San Jose at a time that are convenient for both of us. So many ways to communicate. That's I love to work with investors one on one to understand their financial goals, their motivation, their commitment, and then by working together closely, I can help you, each and every single one of you, to achieve the financial freedom that you and your family deserve. All right. So hopefully you can enjoy this presentation. Review these markets again and consult with myself. Then once we have a good consultation and you're ready to go, then I will put you in touch with my real estate partners in these real estate markets so they can help you. All right. Thank you so much. This is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network. Have a nice, blessed day. Goodbye.